Today we're going to be beating Pokemon Platinum with only Gingers. For obvious reasons. I of course need to show the Sinnoh region that Ginger Pokemon are the strongest. Any Pokemon that is mainly orange counts for this run. With this rule, a full team of 6 is possible, but type variety is limited. As always, we start our adventure with Rowan's government-mandated Yap Sesh. I name myself after me and the rival Chat. Chat breaks into my house, then decides to go into the grass without a Pokemon, but gets stopped by Professor Rowan, who begins to question our morality, but decides to give us a Pokemon anyway. I choose the only possible choice, Chimchar, and destroy my rival's Piplup, obviously because it's not Ginger, and name my new friend Local Carrot. I make my way through Route 202, find Dawn and Jubilife, and we meet a funny man named Looker, and Chat already wants another fight. A few embers later, and I'm on my way to Oreburgh. When we reach Oreburgh, we meet Rourke, and the first gym fight goes, well, but this time, he's so easy, I can't help but yawn. We punch him right in the rocks, making Geodude and Onix fall. And after 2 Mach punches, Cranidos doesn't even stand a chance. And Rourke gives me the Coal Badge. We then meet some goofy space people, and they challenge us to a battle. Monferno Mach punches, taking out the Glameow, while Dawn's Turtwig tackles to take out the Stunky. After beating them, we head up the route to Floroma Town, and from there, go to Valley Windworks to find our first encounter, Buizel. After throwing a Pokeball, we catch her and name her Coppertop. We see more space people, and they're trying to steal honey. We teach them a lesson and get the Works Key. Inside, we meet Mars, and Coppertop already shows her worth. But Local Carrot finishes up the fight with Embers on Zubat and Mach punches on Perugly. I head to Eterna Forest, making sure to get some levels before I get to the city, and I head to the gym to challenge Gardenia. Her Turtwig takes 1 critical Flame Wheel, knocking it out, and her Cherrim also takes a crit. After 2 Flame Wheels, Roserade is knocked out, giving us the Forest Badge. Next, we have to fight Team Galactic again, and save stolen Pokemon. I fight Jupiter and may need another attempt. But on my next attempt, I take Zubat down easily, and Buizel helps us out by giving us a turn to heal and growling the Skuntank. And after some Flame Wheels, we take Skuntank down. After embarrassing Jupiter, the man thanks me and gives me a bike. I make my way to Mount Coronet, meet a man who needs therapy, and move on to Hearthome City for this to happen. Oh, what the heck? Oh my gosh, it died. The camera is dead. I guess we have no camera now. Our third member is Eevee, who will be joining us after we get a Firestone. And just before the gym, Coppertop evolves, learning Crunch in the process. Next up is Fantina's gym. I lead with Coppertop, who one-shots the Duskull with Crunch, and does the same to Haunter. Then Miss Magius comes out, and she gets taken down by 2 more. And that gives us probably the easiest badge yet. Last stream, I slathered honey trees to get our next encounter. And you're probably thinking, what honey encounter counts? Yes, Burmy. Specifically Mothim. I know this one is borderline not a Ginger, however, I think it's mostly orange, kinda. After weakening Burmy, we catch him and name him Ginger Ninja. Next up is the rival fight, and I lead with Monferno on his Staravia. I outspeed, hit him with a Flame Wheel, and he goes for a strong wing attack, but a Flame Wheel and a Mach Punch take him out. Next up is Floatzel vs Prinplup. He hits a Growl, but 2 Crunches and an Aqua Jet finish him off. Next up is Roselia. I heal Local Carrot, and one super effective Flame Wheel gets the knockout. Last up is Ponyta. I send in Floatzel, and it hits 1 Aqua Jet to get the knockout. After making Chat cry, I evolve Ginger Ninja and get the Good Rod for another controversial encounter, Goldeen. We catch her in a Great Ball and name her Ginger Peach. Then we go to the Slaceon ruins and grab a Firestone to get Flamehead to live up to his name. We then head to Veilstone, go to the gym, beat some trainers, and fight Maylene. I lead with Ginger Ninja and get hit with a Fake Out. I go for Gust to miss out on the one-shot, and a Rock Tomb and Confusion take down Mothim. Then Coppertop finishes up with an Aqua Jet. Next up is Lucario, and Monferno one-shots with a Flame Wheel. I send in Coppertop for her Machoke, and 1, 2, 3 Aqua Jets take it down, giving us the Cobble Badge. But before we leave, something happened in the gym. I couldn't find another orange Pokemon, so I can only have 5 team members. Gonna try to find you one. I'm pretty sure I looked through the whole decks. Rotom! And after figuring out I could have a 6 team member, I ran to the manor as quickly as I could to catch my new friend, Red Rascal the Rotom. Another thing I noticed after the challenge is that I could have got a male Hippowdon. Whatever. Who needs type variety anyway? I make my way through the routes and Ginger Peach evolves into a Seaking. And after making it to Pastoria City, the rival wants to fight. He sends in Staravia, I lead with Rotom, and Staravia gets one-shot by a super effective Shockwave. Next is Prinplup, who goes down in 2 Shockwaves. And I then send out Flamehead while the rival sends in his Roselia. I one-shot it with a super effective Fire Blast. Then I switch into Ginger Peach, who takes down the rival's Ponyta in 2 super effective Water Pulses, winning us the battle. After beating Chad again, I head to the gym, finish the puzzle, and fight Crasher Wake. He leads with Gyarados, but it doesn't stand a chance against 1 super effective Shockwave. He then sends in his Floatzel to a strong crunch. I confuse him, and he finishes me off with an Aqua Jet. Next up is my Floatzel. We trade crunches, but mine gets knocked out. I then send out Mothim to hit a strong Bug Bite. Floatzel almost one-shots, and I get 1 more Bug Bite off before the Aqua Jet. Next up is my Seaking, and all she needs to do is hit 1 Horn Attack. Lastly, he sends in Quagsire, who gets one-shot by Monferno's Grass Knot, awarding us with the Fen Badge. I then head up the next few routes to get to Celestic Town, and this time that guy who needs therapy wants a fight. He leads with Sneasel, I lead with Flareon, and hit 1 return before switching to Monferno to knock out the Sneasel with a super effective Flame Wheel. I then switch to Rotom, he sends in his Golbat, I outspeed, and hit 1 Shockwave to take it down. I stay in for his Murkrow, getting outsped and hit with a hard feint attack. Rotom then hits a Shockwave that almost knocks the Murkrow out, and it heals a little extra with its Citrus Berry. I then switch to Floatzel, who chips away at its remaining health with a priority Aqua Jet, winning us our first Cyrus fight. After that, we make our way to Canalave City, where our rival Chat wants to fight. His lead is Staraptor, and I lead with Flamehead, who hits Staraptor with a Fire Blast. Staraptor barely clings on and hits a strong takedown, but 1 return is all I need to get the knockout. Next, I send in Rotom for his Empoleon, and I go for 2 Shockwaves to finish up his starter. Ginger Ninja comes out for his Heracross, and Heracross hits a strong Aerial Ace, and Ginger Ninja fails to get the one-shot with Gust. So I switch to Floatzel. 1 Aqua Jet later, and I can switch back into Mothim for his Roserade. Roserade comes out, and I hit 1 Psybeam, he sets up Toxic Spikes, and I hit 1 more Psybeam to take it down. I then switched my Floatzel for his final Pokemon and hit 2 Aqua Jets to take it down and win us the battle. After that, I go to the gym and face off against Byron. He sends out Magneton, and I lead with Local Carrot to one-shot Magneton with a super effective close combat. I then send out Flamehead, he sends in Steelix, then I hit a strong Fire Blast, and his Steelix goes down in 1 hit. I then switch to Ginger Peach for his Bastiodon and hit 2 Waterfalls before he takes her down to only 2 HP with a Metal Burst. But we outspeed and knock the Bastiodon down, awarding us with the Mind Badge. Team Galactic decides to bomb the region, causing devastation to Sinnoh's lakes. So we go to the lakes, beat Saturn and Mars, then we can finally do something actually important, like getting to Snow Point for a gym battle with Candace. She leads with Sneasel, it hits a hard Aerial Ace, and I use a 4-time super effective close combat to get the one-shot. I then swap to Floatzel for her Piloswine, getting an Aqua Jet off that does less than half before getting taken down by a Stone Edge and Earthquake. I then swap to Local Carrot, who gets another close combat for the one-shot. Flamehead comes out for a Frostlass and gets hit by a critical Shadow Ball, but luckily takes down the Frostlass in 1 Fire Blast. I then swap to Local Carrot, hit a Flame Wheel, and Abomasnow goes for Woodhammer, taking the term knock yourself out a little too seriously. After we finish, we have to fly back to Veilstone and go through the Galactic base to meet Cyrus once again, and we have to beat him in a battle to show him the power of friendship. He leads with Sneasel, and I send in Monferno, who one-shots with a super effective close combat. We then swap to Rotom for his Crobat, and of course, his Crobat hits a Supersonic that makes us hit ourselves, and his bite does a lot of damage. 1 Shockwave is all I could fire off before needing to swap to Seaking. He uses Supersonic to make Seaking hit herself twice in a row, but we finally hit her Waterfall that just barely doesn't get the KO. He full restores, and Seaking knocks herself out with Confusion. And of course, Rotom isn't fast enough to get another hit in, so we're forced to swap to Coppertop, who gets a clutch critical hit. I then swap to Flamehead for his Honchkrow and get nailed with a strong Dropek. Flamehead unfortunately doesn't do much with his return. Honchkrow heals with a Citrus Berry, and we're forced into another swap into Floatzel so I can get off a heal for Rotom. And finally, Rotom helps finish off the fight with a super effective Shockwave. We make our way through the Galactic base, free the Lake Spirits, and climb up Mount Coronet all the way to Spear Pillar. Up there we fight Mars and Jupiter, and this fight took way too long, so I'll summarize it for you. We won. Cyrus finally starts to see his dream become reality, but Giratina banishes him to the Distortion world. We follow him to stop the distortion happening in our world, so we walk sideways and surf upside down to get our way back to him and fight him for one last time. He sends out his Houndoom, and I lead with my Monferno. I outspeed and get a super effective close combat one-shotting the Houndoom. I prepare for his Gyarados by swapping to Rotom. I hit a Shockwave that does roughly 3/4, and he hits me with a hefty Waterfall, almost getting the knockout. But after one more Shockwave, we take him down. down. I then swap to Monferno to counter his Weavile. He hits me with a Fake Out, then an Ice Punch, and I hit a 4x super effective close combat to one-shot. He then sends in Crobat, and I heal my only answer for it, my Rotom. And Crobat takes down Monferno, allowing me to switch. After switching, I get hit with a Toxic and fire off a super effective Shockwave. Then, a strong Cross Poison from Crobat gets me deep into the yellow. But after another Shockwave, we take down the Crobat. I swap to Ginger Ninja, and he sends out his final member, Honchkrow. I dodge a Heat Wave and fire off a decent Bug Bite, but get one-shot by a Drill Peck. Flamehead comes to retaliate and gets hit with a heavy Drill Peck, but fires off a return to finish off the fat bird, winning us the fight. But we have one more task before we leave. Fight Giratina. I lead with Copper Top and hit 2 super effective crunches. Then Ginger Ninja just barely doesn't get the KO, so I have to go back to Copper Top for a final Aqua Jet. We then awaken and send off Spring and make our way to Sunyshore City so we can battle the last gym leader, Volkner. He leads with Jolteon and I lead with Flareon. I hit with a Dig, missing out on the one-shot, then he goes for a Hyper Potion, getting Jolteon back to full. I dig again, but this time I hit a high roll to knock it out. He then switches to Electivire, who hits a strong Thunder Punch, and I hit a Dig to barely miss out on the KO. His Citrus Berry heals some damage, and unfortunately, he knocks down Flamehead with another Thunder Punch. I swap to Rotom and hit a Shadow Ball that leaves him at a Slither. He then hits me with a Fire Punch, but one more Shadow Ball is all I need to take him out. I then swap to Monferno for his Luxray, hit a close combat doing about half, and he knocks me down with a Thunder Fang. I play a smart move, switching to my water type. I then hit a Crunch that gets a defense drop. He hits a super effective Thunder Fang, heals with a full restore, and I get off another Crunch, lowering his defense even further. And one final Crunch is all I need for the knockout. I then switch to Ginger Ninja for his Raichu. He hits a super effective Charge Beam, and I surprisingly hit an even stronger Bug Buzz that even Volkner wasn't expecting. One more Charge Beam takes me out though, and a swap to Floatzel and a priority Aqua Jet is all I need to win that gym badge. I then make my way through Victory Road into the Pokemon League, but before I'm allowed to fight the Elite Four, Chat wants his butt whooped one more time. He sends out Staraptor, I go for Floatzel, he lowers my attack with Intimidate, but all I need is one super effective Ice Beam for the knockout. I then swap to Monferno for his Roserade, I outspeed and hit a super effective Flare Blitz for yet another one-shot. I swap to Rotom for his Empoleon, and I hit a Thunderbolt that crits, giving us our third one-hit KO. I then swap to Mothim for his Heracross, but Heracross gets the one-shot on me this time. I then swap to Flareon, get hit with a hard close combat that takes me all the way down to 40 HP, and then I one-shot the Heracross with a super effective Fire Blast. I then switch to Monferno for his Snorlax, and hit a strong close combat that barely misses out on the one-shot. He then hits a Body Slam that takes me out. I then swap to Floatzel and hit a priority Aqua Jet to clean up, and his last Pokemon Rapidash goes down in just 2 Aqua Jets, granting us access to the Elite Four. Aaron is the first Elite Four member, and he leads with Yanmega. I lead with Flamehead to burn that bug with a super effective Fire Blast that gets us the one-shot. He then sends in Vespiquen, and Flamehead secures yet another one-shot with Fire Blast. I haven't learned my lesson, so I send in him Mothim for his Heracross to get one-shot by a super effective Stone Edge. I then swap to Floatzel to hit a weak Aqua Jet, then he almost gets the one-shot with a close combat. I go for another Aqua Jet, and this time he misses Stone Edge. But after whittling him down with one more Aqua Jet, I go down to his Night Slash. I swap to Rotom, and he uses a full restore before I get off 2 Thunderbolts to take him out. And I employ an interesting strategy for his next Pokemon. Let's try something. Let's go gambling. I can't stop winning. Let's go. We cheesed that so hard. Oh my goodness. After that, we swap to Local Carriot for his Drapion and get hit with a super effective Aerial Ace. I then hit a close combat to do about half. After that, I swap to Red Rascal. He crits an Aerial Ace and hits an Ice Fang before I can fire off a Thunderbolt. Drapion heals back some HP with his Citrus Berry. He outspeeds but luckily misses his Ice Fang, allowing me to beat the first Elite Four member with just one more Thunderbolt. I want to be transparent and say that I use rare candies in between fights to keep up with the level caps. I could have leveled up my Pokemon to the Champions level cap, but considering the level difference between her level cap and Aaron's, I decided this would be the best balance to keep this a challenge. Next up is Bertha. She leads with Whiscash, and my plan of getting a one-shot with Grass Knot doesn't go to plan. Getting Monferno knocked out immediately with Whiscash's super effective Aqua Tail. I then switch to Floatzel's, hit an Ice Beam, and it hits me with a strong Earth Power. I get off another Ice Beam, but Whiscash almost knocks me out. I swap to Ginger Peach, she heals with a full restore, and I heal up Floatzel while Whiscash takes out Ginger Peach with some more Earth Powers. I'm forced to swap to Ginger Ninja, he hits a Bug Buzz while she goes for Aqua Tail, and one more Bug Buzz finishes off the Whiscash. I then swap to Floatzel, and she swaps to Golem. I hit an Ice Beam to freeze, but she thaws out immediately and hits us with a super effective Thunder Punch. But one more Ice Beam is all I need to take down the Golem. She sends out Gliscor, and Coppertop one-shots with an Ice Beam. Next up is Hippowdon, and Coppertop hits an Ice Beam to freeze it. She stays frozen this time, and another Ice Beam is all I need to get the KO. She then sends in Rhyperior. I go for an Ice Beam to do about half, but she heals with a Citrus Berry and goes for an Earthquake, taking out my beloved Sweeper. I then send in Red Rascal and hit a critical Shadow Ball to take out Rhyperior's remaining HP, winning us the battle against the second Elite Four member. Second to last is Flint, and he leads with Houndoom. I go for Monferno and hit a super effective close combat to get the one-shot. I then swap to Flareon for Infernape, and it hits Flareon with a strong Earthquake to almost take him down. I then hit a return to do about half, and dodge the Earthquake by switching to Mothim. Unfortunately, Mothim ends up getting one shot by a Flare Blitz anyway. I then swap to Ginger Peach, and he heals with a full restore. I hit a Horn Attack, and he goes for a Thunder Punch. I then go for one more Waterfall, hoping for the KO, but we barely miss out. And I go down to one more Thunder Punch. I decide to swap to Floatzel and finish up Infernape with a super effective Aqua Jet. He then sends out Rapidash. I stay in and hit an Aqua Jet to do about half. He hits a weak resisted Flare Blitz before I take him down with one more Aqua Jet. He then sends in Magmortar. I hit an Aqua Jet that does about half, then Magmortar heals with a Citrus Berry and hits a super effective Thunderbolt to take out Coppertop. I decide to swap to Red Rascal and hit a Thunderbolt for good damage. He then hits me with a strong Flamethrower that takes my Rotom down to 20 HP, but all I need is one more Thunderbolt to finish off the Magmortar. Lastly, I swap into Local Carrot while he sends in his Flareon. I hit a strong close combat, and his Flareon crits a Giga Impact to get the knockout on Local Carrot. I then show him who the superior redhead is by hitting a strong return that wins us the fight. Lastly, we go up against Lucian. He leads with Mr. Mime, and I send in Floatzel, who hits Mr. Mime with a super effective Crunch for the one-hit KO. His Alakazam, who's also weak to Crunch, goes down in a single hit, and I swap to Rotom while he sends in his Gallade. I hit a weak Thunderbolt, and Gallade goes for a strong Psycho Cut that brings me down to only 43 HP, and I fire off one more Shadow Ball before he heals with a Citrus Berry and finishes off Red Rascal with another Psycho Cut. I then swap into Monferno and misclick on Close Combat. Then he takes me out with a super effective Psycho Cut. I then swap to Floatzel. He uses a full restore. I hit a Crunch, hit a second Crunch, and Gallade fires back a super effective Leaf Blade to almost take Floatzel down. But one more Crunch from Floatzel takes him down. I then swap to Flareon for his Bronzong and hit a Fire Blast that almost takes it out. It goes for Calm Mind. Lucian uses another full restore, and I chip it down with a Bite before I hit a Fire Blast to finish off the Bronzong. I stay in for his Espeon and it outspeeds and hits a heavy Psychic. I then go for a super effective Bite before swapping to Ginger Peach. Espeon uses Shadow Ball, then Psychic, leaving Ginger Peach on 10 HP, and she uses Waterfall to get us the win against the final Elite Four member. And finally, the moment we've been waiting for, the true test. Are Ginger Pokemon really the strongest? Because if they are, they should be able to become champions. Cynthia leads with Spiritomb, and Mothim hits a Bug Buzz doing half. Spiritomb hits a Dark Pulse, and Mothim takes it out with another Bug Buzz. After taking out Spiritomb, I send in Rotom for a Togekiss, and a Thunderbolt does over half. She hits a critical Water Pulse to do over half to me, but I outspeed, and one more Thunderbolt is all I need to take it down. I switch to Local Carrot to counter her Lucario, and I get a one-shot with a super effective Close Combat. I swap to Mothim for Milotic so I can heal Rotom. She takes out Mothim, and I swap to Rotom, who clutches up and gets a critical Thunderbolt to one-shot. I then swap to Floatzel for a Garchomp, and I barely miss out on the one-shot with Ice Beam. She heals up with a Citrus Berry and hits an Earthquake, but Floatzel survives and finishes the job with one more Ice Beam. I then swap to Monferno for a Roserade, hit a Flare Blitz, and any one-shot. And he does it. My starter. Look at him. I'm so proud of him. Oh my gosh. Yes! We have shown Sinnoh that Ginger Pokemon are simply the best. I appreciate each and every one of my team members. And I appreciate you for watching. This is my first video, so any feedback would be nice. Please like and sub if you'd like to see more, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.